Peace everyone, I hope you're well. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about creating and maintaining boundaries effectively for the people in our lives. So I hope you guys enjoy and I hope you learn something. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get started.
Peace everyone, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Elena, and here on this channel we talk about things like veganism, self-care, and overall holistic wellness. So if any of those things interest you, make sure you keep watching and subscribe so that you don't miss any more videos from me. Today's video is all about boundaries, and I'm going to talk to you guys really quickly about what a boundary is and how to create and maintain them effectively. So first off, a boundary is defined as a line that marks the limits of an area. In this case, we're not talking about like a geographic boundary. We're talking about personal boundaries that we set for the people in our lives. So in this case, that limit of the area is going to be yourself. It's going to be what you allow from others when it pertains to your personal self and your well-being, your overall well-being. So the limit here is defining what you will and will not accept from the people around you and in your life, the people that you allow access to you. So with that being said, I want to remind you guys that access to you is a privilege. Whoever you allow to access your energy and your presence, that is a privilege to that person. So please remember that access to you is a privilege, and that is why we're setting these boundaries, because we all know, or we all are working to know and learn what it is that makes us operate at our highest self and operate at our best self. So boundaries come into play because even though we know that for ourselves, others may not know that for us. So we have to define what it is that keeps us vibrating high. Relationship with others is necessary. It's absolutely necessary for our own well-being and our own growth and our own self-improvement. But at the same time, relationships with others can also be detrimental if those boundaries are not set, or if people do not know how to interact with you in a way that keeps you vibrating high. So that's what the boundaries are for. The boundary is a line that divides what you will and will not accept. So there's one side is what you will accept, what is okay, what helps you, what feeds you, what helps you grow. And then the other side is the things that pull you down, that tear you down, and that stunt your growth. And so we want to set boundaries to ensure that if we are vibrating lower, on a lower frequency, it's not because of anyone else. It's not from any outside source. It's strictly based on us and what we're doing differently. So with that being said, I'm going to share with you guys 3 tips about setting boundaries and how to set them and maintain them effectively. The first key about your boundaries is that they should be specific. So what that means is that there should be no gray area. So let's use a simple analogy. Red light and green light. There's no gray area. You're not confused what to do at a red light. You don't think that maybe you can still go. You're not confused about at a green light that maybe you should stop. You know that you go and you stop when the light is green and when it's red. So that's just how specific your boundaries need to be. There doesn't need to be any kind of wiggle room, work around for the other party, because then it's not a boundary. It's like a dotted line or a dash line that you might be able to like squeeze through, or you know what I'm saying? Like, so the boundary should be a solid line, no gray area, no room for misinterpretation. So that's the first point when it comes to boundaries. The second point is that you should be consistent, and what that means is that what goes for one person is what goes for everybody. So even if it is difference between a family member and a friend, if you wouldn't allow a certain behavior or a certain type of speech towards you from a family member, then you should not allow it from a friend, and vice versa. If you wouldn't allow it from a friend, then a family member is not allowed to do that or say that to you either without you saying anything back. Granted, it could be a parent or an elder, and in that case I would say that you just respectfully tell that person how whatever they said or did to you made you feel, and allow them to see the error in that way, or see how that behavior or that way of speaking has negatively impacted you. And even if it is family, like family doesn't get a pass. So please remember, family does not get a pass to disrespect you or make you feel low. So that's a boundary. The boundary should be consistent across the board. And aside from the boundaries being consistent with people, the boundary should also be consistent with the same person. So if you tell a person that you don't like the way that they said something to you, then if they say it one time and you respond in that way, then every time they say it, if they ever say it again, you have to respond in the same way to show your seriousness. You have to take yourself seriously in order for anybody else to take you and your boundaries serious. So you have to take them serious first. That means you have to be consistent. You have to mean what you say and say what you mean. No going back and forth, up and down, roller coaster, none of that. Your boundary is your boundary. Mean what you say and say what you mean. For the last and final point, boundaries should be enforced, which means now that you have figured out in your mind what you will and will not allow, or even on paper if you have to write it down, whether you have determined what it is you will and will not allow, once you figured out what it is that makes you operate up here and what will make you operate down here, you need to enforce those boundaries. That means you need to share that newfound knowledge with the people around you and pretty much let them know, like, this is what it is, this is how I feel, this is from here on out, this is what I will and will not accept. And that gives that person a chance to know, instead of us just coming up with in our minds what we will allow from now on, from here on out, and then just cutting someone off when they violate. So it's important to be transparent with the people in your life and let them know this is what it is, pretty much. And then from there, if they still choose to violate, then you have like a reason to even share with them on why this relationship cannot continue on any further. So enforce those boundaries, and like I said before, mean what you say what you mean, and don't allow any like gray areas or wavy, those little dotted lines or whatever. Like, say what you mean what you say. As I said before, you have to take yourself seriously before anybody else is going to take you seriously. You have to take your own boundaries seriously and realize the importance of them before anybody else is going to take you seriously. No one else has to understand your boundaries. The only person that needs to understand your boundaries, why they're set, and if they make sense or not, is you. So those are my 3 points. Setting boundaries is super important. It is a form of self-care, it's a form of self-love, it's a form of self-preservation. So you know what will help you operate at your highest self, and the only person that needs to know that is you. Your responsibility, our responsibility, is to implement these boundaries to ensure that we are putting ourselves first, because as I always say, self-care is selfish, and that's okay. So put yourself first, set these boundaries. Comment below if you have ever tried implementing and setting boundaries with people in your life, whether it be family and friends, and let me know how that went for you. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video. Thank y'all so much for watching. Peace.